and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Angie and I'm a chemist who loves makeup. In this video, we are going to be talking about recent skincare trends and my thoughts on them. A lot of these actually can also apply to makeup and other cosmetics in general, and these will be referenced with new technology, business models, ingredients. I'm going to give you my opinion on these trends from a chemist perspective, and I hope that you learned something today as well. Speaking of learning, that is going to bring me to the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online community that caters to people like me who are always interested in learning about new things and developing new skills. They have so many classes like learning how to play guitar, organization to help increase your productivity, and even self-care classes. The most recent class I took is Gardening 101, a guide for growing and caring for plants. Since we moved, I've had space to have a garden now, and some of my crops were successful, like tomatoes, and other ones like my zucchini, I did not get a good harvest. So this class has definitely found some areas where I went very wrong, so next time I will definitely do a lot better with those zucchini plants. Skillshare is designed for learning, so there's no ads in your classes. There's always new premium classes. So whatever your interests are, there's always going to be new classes for you to discover and topics to learn more about. The first 1,000 of my subscribers that use the link in my description to join will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, so you can start exploring your creativity and see all the classes that Skillshare has to offer. So thank you again to Skillshare, and now we're going to get into the trends. First one we are going to talk about is personalized skincare. When I say personalized, these are usually companies that have you go take an online quiz of some sort, and based on the answers you give them, they determine which of their products you should be using. Some of them claim to be very targeted towards your specific skin type. There are varying degrees of these. I have seen a few which very much try to imply that this has been custom formulated by a single chemist for you. And from my background as a chemist and with manufacturing, I know that that's probably very unlikely to be the case because this would be very pricey. When you have a smaller batch size, it's more expensive. Really, there's probably not that many variations of the same type of product. For instance, let's say you have a moisturizer, probably not 20 different moisturizers. Maybe there's like 5 moisturizers of a specific type of product. So based on your results, they're gonna pick one of those 7 that is gonna work best for you. That's most likely what is happening here. But for me, this isn't really a trend that I'm that excited about, only because I don't really think it's truly personalized from what I would define personalized. I would love to learn more about specific companies. Maybe they are more personalized than I am actually led to believe. Another trend I've seen recently is glycerin marketed as a key ingredient. And I was so excited about this. I love glycerin. We love glycerin here. Glycerin is a humectant. Humectants attract water to themselves and they will pull it from the lower levels of your skin or the air and in turn hydrate your skin. So I love glycerin, and glycerin has been around in everything for a long time. When everyone was looking for hyaluronic acid in their products, truly there was usually also glycerin in the products. Glycerin has been pulling the heavy work in terms of hydration for a long time. If you ever had a product that was boasting about hyaluronic acid, I would love for you to find it, look on the ingredients list, and tell me if there's also glycerin in there, because I bet you most of them also have glycerin. So since this ingredient is already contained in your moisturizers, your serums in substantial amounts, I don't mind it being advertised as a key ingredient. So I'm really happy that an ingredient that's in these products that is doing substantial amount of hydration work is actually being marketed to customers now, instead of other ingredients that sound fancier but probably aren't doing as much of the legwork. So the next trend we're talking about is the skin microbiome. So the skin microbiome is basically the flora of bacteria that is living on your skin at any given moment. Because this is a part of the natural environment of your skin, these bacteria are thought to be beneficial. When we wash our face, when we use cleansers or things of that nature, it is theorized that we are removing that bacteria, rendering it ineffective, and that can lead to skin issues. You might be familiar with a similar idea in terms of gut health, where people use things like kombucha or yogurt that has good bacteria in there to add good bacteria back to your gut in order to help with your gut health. Now, some skincare brands are trying to use probiotics in their skincare. The problem with trying to apply these same principles is the difference in manner in which that food products are consumed versus how cosmetics are consumed. All of the probiotics I feel like I've seen, they're either in capsule form and like a gel form where they're their own individual unit that cannot be exposed to outside bacteria or air, or it's a refrigerated product like yogurt, which are refrigerated and have a short shelf life. That doesn't really work for cosmetics. Cosmetics you need to keep for months at a time. Places like Sephora and Ulta don't have a refrigerator to store these products in. Lush does have some refrigerated products, but I don't think that they've gone towards this route. There really probably wouldn't be a place that you could pick this up at. You'd have to get something delivered, you'd have to keep it in a fridge, which isn't very typical of the average cosmetic consumer. Because cosmetics are not used in this manner, preservatives have to be added. And with these wide range preservatives like phenoxyethanol, when you add them to these products, any of that good bacteria is also going to be gone. So the probiotic activity is going to be zero. The other half of this trend is that there's not really a substantial amount of research out there to back up this effort to make these type of probiotic skincare products. I haven't seen very much of it. People in the industry I've talked to don't have a lot of info on this either. So I hope eventually we do have some research to definitively say one way or the other if this is something that we should pursue. But for now, I'm not really excited about this trend. The next trend is single ingredient focused products. This isn't to call out a specific brand, but for instance, The Ordinary is probably the most well-known one where they have all their different products that are focused on specific active ingredients. There are also ones like Good Molecules too is another one. These types of skincare products have educated people on the benefits of these active ingredients, but I think it's also gone a bit too far. I think it's made all these people feel like they need all these active ingredients in their routine. And to boot, these brands are usually pretty affordable, so it makes it a lot more reasonable to purchase a bunch of products from these brands and use these all in your skincare routine. The mistake that a lot of people make is by incorporating too many of these actives into your skincare routine, you're actually probably doing a lot of damage to your skin barrier, and that in turn is going to cause irritation and more skin issues, which is what you were trying to prevent in the first place. I kind of have a 50-50 split on my feelings behind these kind of brands. I really like the idea of educating customers about specific ingredients, and I love that you can specifically pick out which ingredients you want in your skincare routine, but at the same time, I think a lot of customers go overboard regardless of the information the brand puts out there, and I think we need to scale it back a little bit and not believe that we need all of these individual ingredients in our routine. The next one we're going to talk about is actually from an ingredient standpoint in terms of how an ingredient is produced, and that's going to be using microorganisms to produce your ingredients. This is definitely one of the more nerdy trends, so you already know I'm excited for this one. There are now manufacturers of ingredients, also known as raw materials. We're going to call them raw materials from here on out. So there are raw materials being produced in which a bacteria is fed, it undergoes fermentation, and the end result of that fermentation is a specific compound that can be utilized in cosmetics. This is really beneficial because if a raw material is able to be produced by a bacteria, that's wonderful in terms of the environmental impact. You're not going to need a lot of space because we all know how little teeny tiny bacteria is. You're also not going to need a lot of starting material because you just need this cultured bacteria. Most likely, you could make this product domestically so there wouldn't be a lot of traveling time. So that can reduce the fuel impact as well. When you're taking an ingredient out of nature, for instance, if it's on some other country, you first have to transport that crop to wherever to process it there, and then you have to transfer it. So that's a whole step that could be thousands of miles away. I think technology like this is probably some of the most important impacts we could have to make our cosmetics more environmentally friendly. From an individual standpoint and recyclable packaging, it's really hard to feel like that's going to have a significant impact, but I think innovation is going to be what actually is going to contribute the most to making cosmetics more environmentally friendly. So this is a trend I'm really on board with, and I cannot wait to hear about more raw materials being made this way. The next trend we're talking about are minimalist skincare routines. How 2021, I think a lot of people were moving towards a more minimalist mindset, cutting back spending, which can mean cutting back on your skincare routine. And realistically, you don't need to have that many different products to consider it a skincare routine. You really just need a cleanser, moisturizer, SPF, and realistically, you could probably get a moisturizer that also works as your SPF as long as you use enough product. I want to put that disclaimer in there. And then you just add whatever products you need based on what your skin actually needs at the time. This is very different from some people who have a 15-step skincare routine with a bunch of products, half of them which don't do anything. I've been pretty subscribed to this trend. Mind you, I still love things like eye creams, for instance, which are not necessary, but I still enjoy. I feel like cutting my skincare routine back to the basics and then adding in products for specific concerns really helped my skincare routine personally. Next, we're talking about our recycling containers at cosmetic retailers. So select Nordstroms are actually going to have these bins. It's called their Beauty Cycle program, and these are bins to collect your empty cosmetic containers. They even take trial sizes. They take a lot of different products. You'll have to look at their full list of what they accept and don't accept, but they do take most products. And I think this is really good, especially for consumers who are trying to recycle properly. Companies have a lot of recyclable packaging now. The problem is a lot of times, even if the customer throws it into a recycle bin, something happens along the way where it just ends up back in a landfill. For instance, I don't even have a recycle bin at my complex. Maybe they sort it themselves with the city, but I don't have a place to specifically put my products. When you throw it in a recycling bin, it can get contaminated by other things, and that could totally void it being recyclable at that point. So I think it's really beneficial for these cosmetic retailers to have this, because wherever they're gonna take it to, I would hope would be most familiar what's recyclable and what's not recyclable, and I think they would be able to do a much better job of getting it to that recyclable standpoint. We've also seen programs with Lush and MAC where if you take back so many empty products, you will get a free product in return. It would be nice if Sephora and Ulta could do something similar as well, especially since they're only focused on cosmetics, or partner with specific brands to bring back at least that brand's products and give a coupon or something to entice customers. So hopefully my local Nordstrom's does do this. I'll have to check. And if so, I am definitely going to bring my products to there as well. The last trend we're going to talk about is also related to environmental impact, and that's going to be upcycled ingredients. The cosmetic industry has been known for this for a while, in which the raw materials they use for cosmetics are actually byproducts of another industry. Your use of petrolatum or Vaseline, it's actually a byproduct of the petroleum industry that the cosmetic industry is just utilizing. Same thing for lanolin. Lanolin is the oil from sheep wool, and that just gets removed off the wool during wool production, so that is also a byproduct. But I'm starting now to see more companies talk about these upcycled kind of ingredients. If you've ever heard of the Beauty Brains podcast, Valerie, one of the hosts, she's a cosmetic chemist, recently started a business called Simply Ingredients, and this is targeted to provide raw materials for home formulators of cosmetics. And two of her company's products are actually strawberry seed oil and strawberry seed exfoliant. These are actually byproducts of the juicing industry. So when they juice, there's a lot of pulp left over, obviously the seeds of strawberries. So this pulp is removed and you're left with the seeds, in which you can extract the oil from, as well as use the seeds for an exfoliant, which is what her company is selling. So that's a great ingredient that was just gonna go to waste anyway, but now can be incorporated into products. And I hope there's more raw materials out there that can be produced in a similar way. So let me know what you think of these trends down below, or if there's any other trends that you think I should know about. And if you learned something today, make sure you give this video a like, and make sure you click the subscribe button so you can learn more about the science behind your makeup and skincare. With that, I will see you in my next video. Bye!